Thank you very much, Chairperson. Chair, if this House had any respect, the Taxation Laws Amendment Bill would be returned to the National Assembly with recommendations to amend it. Sadly, the process was so rushed that the majority in the committee were convinced to accede to the pleas of the executive and the office bearers in Parliament to allow a flawed bill to pass rather than to make a stand for what is right. The details of the matter were well ventilated in committee, but one of the things that this bill does is to remove an incentive which was introduced in 2006 for taxpayers to reduce the burden on the state to fund education. The Treasury is concerned that 4,000 Rand in revenue forgone per claimant is more of a risk than the approximate cost of 16,000 Rand per learner should that learner be forced to return to a state-funded school because of the removal of this incentive. Treasury were not convincing in their arguments and avoided certain questions, and I disagree with Mr. Njadu's point of view that we were convinced by their comments. There was broad agreement, in fact, in committee that the principle itself is flawed, and certainly that the National Assembly had not fully applied its mind and interrogated the implications of the amendment. The NCOP had an ideal opportunity to exercise its powers in terms of Section 75, 1A2 of the Constitution, and yet political expedience and the need for the National Assembly colleagues to go on holiday seems to have won the day. Less obvious, but certainly worth noting, were our sentiments towards ending the Section 12J incentive for investments in emerging local entrepreneurs, especially considering the massive positive impact that this has had on small local businesses and the benefits of keeping funds in our economy as opposed to investors taking their funds offshore. Once again, the big picture benefits of an incentive have been inadequately scrutinized and interrogated, and the incentive has been removed for the sake of comparatively small amounts of revenue forgone. What we are seeing is Treasury tidying up the bedroom to create a good impression on the firefighters while the house is burning down. The scrap metal taxes proposed are questionable, especially considering the international treaties which Treasury themselves pointed out. The issues here are complex and require much deeper engagement by the National Assembly Committee with the DTI, with Treasury, with industry role players, and with law enforcement agencies. Our minority comments have been included in this very well-written report, but we cannot support the recommendations. The Democratic Alliance remains opposed to this bill and will not support it. We propose referring it back to the National Assembly for improvement. Thank you, Chair.